Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And I had to make this video as quick as possible, but at the same time think about it, okay? Because this is a rumor video. Now, I don't like making rumor videos. I know those aren't really popular, but for some channels they are popular because you want to be first to share the news or what have you, but I don't like looking back on a video and saying, oh, you know what, that didn't quite happen. But I've made some of them. One of which, more recently, was the Super Mario Sunshine 2 video. And that's several months ago. In that video, it was describing how Nintendo put up an image on their Twitter that showcased Mario and like his sunshine look. You know, there was no flood or anything. It was like an upscaled image. It was it didn't lead to an actual game being mentioned or scheduled or what have you, but it was a 1080p resolution upscaled image of Mario in his sunshine-like attire, you know, like a Hawaii shirt and everything. So why is that important? Well, there have been rumors and desires that people have had over the years for, you know, HD remasters of some of these Mario games. Mainly these 3D versions, right? Nintendo has had some good luck on the Wii with some of the games there. Wii Sports and everything, the controller, all that was revolutionary when it came to motion controls, and it sold like hotcakes. But then they followed it up with the Wii U, and mom and dad who were looking for these consoles kind of scratched their heads and was like, yeah, it's got the same controllers and everything. What is this? How is it different? Is it just an add-on? And you know the rest. It didn't sell as well as Nintendo would have liked to, and a lot of the games that were really good have been ported over to the Switch. You know, Bayonetta 1 and 2 ported over to the Switch, right? Well, Bayonetta 1 anyway. Bayonetta 2 was the actual port from the Wii U. 1 was on some other consoles. But anyway, you get where I'm going. That was ported over. You got Xenoblade Chronicles. You've got, you know, most recently, the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. That was ported over, right? They started out with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and here we go with that. So one of those Mario games is missing. No pun intended there. Super Mario 3D World. Great game. Lots of levels, lots of characters. It was like Super Mario Bros. 2 character selection. You get Rosalina, as a bonus character. You get through some of the worlds. Great experience, and it would be dope to have that on the Switch because, you know, although it was great on the Wii U, Nintendo's looking at another audience who may have missed out on it because they didn't support the Wii U. So there you go. So what is this rumor that I'm talking about? Well, this rumor suggests, and there's different variations of it that are going on the internet, so what we're going to do, because I ramble so much, is talk about the likelihood of it happening, and then the likelihood of this not happening, okay? So, with a little bit of the backstory out of the way, this rumor is saying that Nintendo is planning to announce new Mario games and remasters to celebrate the series' 35-year anniversary. Now, I'm reading this from Kotaku, but Kotaku got it from a British gaming website called Video Games Chronicles. So I got to give shout out to them because that's who leaked this information. There's a couple of other British websites that are also in solidarity with them, saying that this is going to happen. So why do they have this information out there? They're saying, you know, Nintendo had the Lego stuff going on, right? They're partnered with Lego. Levi's with the jeans, all for Mario stuff. And then Nintendo has got their Super Nintendo World theme park and an animated Mario movie scheduled for next year. All of that is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch to, you know, get Mario into your homes. Get Mario on your, you know, back, as you can see, right? So that makes sense. That makes sense that Nintendo would go all out on the guy who saved video games, and, you know, push that down your throat a little bit more. You know, we've had years of Luigi, we've had years that was, you know, Zelda games, but make no mistake, this is year 35, and I would think that if there was a remaster thing, and we're going to start out with why this could happen. If there was a remaster thing, maybe they would wait to, you know, the 50th celebration, but there's no guarantee that, you know, Miyamoto's going to be around that long. I hate to start it off morbid, but there's no guarantee. So let's go ahead 35 years and do that. Now here's where it gets interesting. You got Super Mario All-Stars, and yes, this is my own printout cover. This is not the original. This is Super Mario All-Stars. This is for the Wii. Super Mario All-Stars came out for Super Nintendo, and that was a remaster, if you will. That was a remaster of some of the old school Mario games. So there were a couple versions of that, right? You had the version that was standard that had Super Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros 2, and Super Mario Bros 3 all on a cartridge, and that was awesome. Not only that, but they had different graphics. They were remastered for Super Nintendo graphics and sound versus the 8-bit era that you had. So that was really cool. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it also had the Lost Levels. So I believe that was the 4th game on there. So you had the Lost Levels, and you guys know what that is by now. If you don't, you had the American version of Super Mario Bros. 2, which was a reskin of Doki Doki Panic, a Japanese game, and they switched that around, and because they felt like us US gamers, we weren't going to enjoy the Lost Levels, and they were probably right. They're probably right for that, because you want Mario games to each one to have their own identity. Lost Levels was pretty much the first Mario game, but harder. But if you want to know more about that, that's another video for another time. So all 4 of those games are on this collection. And I'm talking about the Super Nintendo version. And then you had a second version, which had all of those games plus Super Mario World. Oh, that was just a delight back then. Still right now, because if you didn't have all those games or the cash to go get them all, or maybe you just didn't have a regular Nintendo lying around, you got them all right here on Super Nintendo, on a controller that has more buttons, 2 players. Just a great experience overall. So you flash forward here, and I believe this was the 30th anniversary. No, that would be Mario Maker, which was the 30th, because we're going on 35. So this was probably the 25th anniversary, and they released this of Mario, right? And I don't remember what year this was, but it looks like it says 2010 here. Yeah, so 10 years later, it's 2010, or I'm sorry, it's 2020 now. There you go. So for the 25th anniversary, they released this All-Stars version, and it was disappointing because it was the same exact stuff. There was no graphical upgrades. It's not like the Wii was 1080p or anything like that, but they didn't release any additional content. It did come with a bonus disc that I've got lying around somewhere. I got it at a pawn shop. Bonus disc costs way too much money on eBay, but a pawn shop had the disc laying around somewhere, and I was able to get a hold of it. And if you bought the actual bundle that was in this big red box that kind of resembles this, I think it came with that. And all it had was some sound effects, some orchestral sounds from, I believe, Galaxy and what have you. But, you know, as a Mario fan, as a collector, I had to have that. So, that said, you got Super Mario All-Stars. So where am I going with this? That's a reason why this could happen. 10 years later, maybe Nintendo heard the cries from people like, why do you want $60 for something that was, you know, well overdue? It's not really worth it, especially when you have the Virtual Console and you had those games. We're going to come back to the Virtual Console later on, and you'll understand why. So why could this happen? Again, I just said they released Super Mario All-Stars in a collection. Maybe it's time that they port those games again in 1080p, right? You've got emulators out there that already have that upscale. Maybe it's time. Maybe they give you the Game Boy Advance versions that had Charles Martinet's voices in those. Those were, you know, a little more enjoyable than the standard ones. So maybe those are what's included. But do we really need those again? I don't know. Now, I said there was a couple different sources that were talking about this. So one of them is saying, you know, it's the 3D games that are going to be remastered. The other source is saying, hey, it's going to be all the Mario games, you know, or at least most of them. So again, this is a rumor. They got it as a report, but you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. You had the Super Mario Sunshine, you know, picture that dropped, and that was an upscaled image, which didn't lead to a game. But what if it is a game that's being worked on and they're upscaling it, and it's not really like it's not a remake or anything, but it's a remaster? I would love for Super Mario Sunshine to be remade. It's not one of my favorite games, or at least it wasn't, but it was one of the most beautiful games on the GameCube. You know how Luigi's Mansion 3 right now is the most, this is my opinion, one of the most beautiful games on the Switch graphically? Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine was that for the GameCube. I mean, whenever I think of summer, I've got to play that game. And it would be awesome to have that in 1080p on the big screen. If it's true, I will be playing that again. Trust and believe, if this comes out in the summer, I'm going to be playing that. So, in addition to, you know, when I say most of these games being remastered or remade or what have you, the rumor says Paper Mario. Now, we've been hearing that for a while. I did a gaming news also referencing that there's a rumor saying a new Paper Mario could be coming. Please, just give us a tidbit of information on that. I'm not saying drop the game today, but if Nintendo, if you're watching this for some reason, somehow, if you're a rep that's out there working for Nintendo, say, hey, let's just put up a little bit about Paper Mario so the fans at least know. I've been telling you guys for a while now. When Final Fantasy VII Remake drops, what is Nintendo going to do? When PS5 and Xbox Series X or whatever it's called is here, the next Xbox, what is Nintendo going to do to keep that momentum going? They have nothing, okay? Animal Crossing just came out. We're in this quarantine, so that's been whatever it was going to sell, which it was going to do well because people love Animal Crossing. And I really wasn't aware of how much they loved it, but trust and believe, right now in a time where you can't go to work and work on your house, people are playing it. I've got people who got me playing it, and I can't really put it down. It's like I wake up and play a little Pokemon here and there, but it doesn't dominate everything I do. Animal Crossing has kind of done that for me right now. It's like, hey, today you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. And, oh, by the way, we're using real time, so if you miss out on going to the store and it's closed, you gotta go tomorrow. You gotta wait. Video games don't typically make me wait. Some of them do. But getting back on subject, Paper Mario, we've got to believe is happening. We had Mario Cross Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which sound like a huge rumor, and it was true. Okay, so I'm holding faith that there is a Paper Mario, and people don't want Color Splash. I didn't care for Color Splash that much, but I finished it because of that rumor saying there's another Paper Mario. And if you know me, you know two things. I love Mario games. Come on. Unless this is your first time watching this channel, you knew that. But number two, if another game in a series is coming out, I've got to try to finish the one that's before if I was playing it. So Resident Evil 2, yes. Back off me. It'll happen. Resident Evil 3 is coming out. I'm gonna get to it. But I finished Color Splash because of that rumor for this Paper Mario game. So that would be the new game in the series, and hopefully it's not like Color Splash, but it's like the first two. So sources that I've heard talk about this rumor have said, hey, it's going to be like the N64 and the GameCube one. So that's what we all want. That's what we all need right now. We need an RPG. We need Mario. We need Mario to push us through this dark period of time right now. He did it in '85 when we had some kind of recession, either that year or the year before, the video game crash and all that, unemployment, layoffs. Mario came out of nowhere saying, yeah, I may have not been great at my job, but here's my new job. Mario, Nintendo. So we've got to have that, and I can't see them just showing this Lego thing and not having anything else to back it up, right? The Lego stuff is not an actual game per se. It's you playing with Legos and they make sounds. It's not like Skylanders where you take a Lego Mario and stick it on a dock or something, or you put it on the Joy-Con and boom, here's your Lego Mario. It's not that, but maybe there is some kind of amiibo functionality that they're working on, and we'll find that out later on. There's no telling. It's way too early to write that off. But I will say this. That's what holds weight to this being true, because Nintendo doesn't comment on rumors. They like to go to the beat of their own drum. We know this. And if this stuff is true, it's going to come out when they're ready. We had a, out of nowhere surprise mini direct. It wasn't a true Nintendo direct per se, but it talked about all the indie games that they've got coming up. Cool, that was something. But I feel like because of this pandemic that's out right now, Nintendo's like, well, is everybody really watching? But if you're an artist, or YouTube or whatever, you're dropping out content, now's the time to do that, where people are home and need entertainment. I'm looking to some of you guys who I watch, please make more content, because I need stuff to watch, and hopefully I'm providing content for some of you to watch that you want to enjoy and get into. Hopefully you continue to share my stuff. So those are reasons why I think this could be real. I think it's about time. Again, 10 years from the previous All-Stars version, this is an opportunity for Nintendo to redeem themselves by giving a true remaster for those 3D games and the older ones too. But let's get into why it may not happen, okay? So, if you look at the date of when I'm putting this up, it's either on April Fool's or right around that time, right? Wouldn't put it past some of these websites to say, hey, we're going to get them with a really big April Fool's, because this isn't like Nintendo. So while I showed you the Mario All-Stars and I said, hey, this is what they've done in the past. They've done it twice now. I've got the cartridge in the game room, but here's the Wii version. We're due for, 10 years later for the next iteration. But these are really blockbuster games. Now, could Nintendo fit all of those on a cartridge? Yeah, I think they could. The first set of games, they didn't need to really do a whole lot, That could fit on a memory card, okay? So for them to upscale them graphically, and those are going from 8-bit to 1080p, they're still 8 to 16-bit depending on which versions they're giving you. That doesn't require a whole lot of space. That's going to fit on these Switch cartridges. But then you start talking Galaxy 2, and Mario Sunshine. Well, Mario Sunshine fit on the GameCube disc, okay? So upscaling that shouldn't be too much, okay? But here's where it gets interesting. The Zelda games. They recently remade Link's Awakening for the Switch, and they sold that at a premium price. That wasn't at a reduced price like a lot of us feel it should have been for a 12-hour game. They put the big $60 on that. And Nintendo, unfortunately, whatever the digital version cost is going to also be the same as the physical. And you could flip those two around, because oftentimes on other consoles, the digital version is going to be cheaper. Why? There's no physical media that has to be, passed out. There's no distribution for that if you're just getting the digital version. So the digital version, you might be on sale for $20, but go to GameStop and pay, $54.99. You'll pay $35, whatever, depending on how long it's been on discount for a used version. See where I'm going with that? So Nintendo, if you're going to get a digital version of Super Mario Maker 2, I still paid $60 for that. May not be what you want to pay, but they know we love Mario like, you know, Pavlovian dogs. We hear that bell. We're there. Ruff, ruff. So this video is going on long enough, but let me get to the last couple of points here, okay? Another reason why this wouldn't happen is, well, Nintendo, they don't give us what we want when we want it. I just hate to say it, they don't. You know, we wanted online for Super Mario 3D World, we didn't get that. The Mario Maker 2 online isn't all that there yet, but hey, another stab at having online mode would be great. I don't think Super Mario Party gave you the online mode either. It was local play, and that was disappointing. Mario Party needs to be online. Like, it just has to be. You can't make another one of those Nintendo and not have it online. I'm just not going to buy it. So, that said, it's like, Nintendo, this is a lot for them to do. Is it going to be all on one cartridge? Is it going to be on separate cartridges? Are there going to be separate downloads? There's no virtual console. So, you know, we do have the Nintendo Switch Online that has some of the old school games on there. But to sell it to you again, that is like Nintendo. But to actually improve the product and give it to you in a family-friendly price package, that's not like Nintendo. So you got both of those sides there that speak to this being real and not being real. So what do you guys think? Super Mario All-Stars 2 happening? That's what I'm choosing to call it. But, you know, maybe that's not what they call it. Maybe they piecemeal these out and slowly roll them out. But if none of this is real and it's a big April Fool's, I can tell you this. That Super Mario 3D World, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's the last one missing. It was on the Wii U. They're going to release a deluxe version of that. It's coming. Hopefully there's more levels, because I think the rumors, you know, I said there was different versions of these sites, stories. Rumors say they're going to release that with more levels. That would be a dream come true, because that game had so many levels, it felt like it had DLC already included. Like when you finish the Mushroom World, there's the Star World, and then there's the Final World. It was perfection. Now the game itself wasn't perfect, but the pacing and the content was perfect. You didn't need any DLC, but here Nintendo has an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to give you 1 or 2 more worlds and Peachhead or something. I don't know. They can find a way to do that and give you an interesting game. I would love for Wario, Waluigi to finally be in one of these, but who knows what they do. But that's coming. So that doesn't end. That speculation doesn't end with this video. But Super Mario All-Stars 2, I can't wait to own you. Can't wait to play you. I've been going through a little bit of depression over this whole pandemic, and I didn't think it was get as bad as it's gotten. I've said this in the last week's worth of videos, but this rumor has kind of brightened the skies a little bit. It has, for me. Just the thought, just a pun intended, pipe dream, if it's real. I've got to have it. I've got to be able to have it. Also, it's on the go. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Captain Sensation!